Hello, my dear friends. We would like to discuss something very unusual for Immigration Office. The reason we addressed this issue and decided to spend some time recording this video is quite simple. We have more and more cases when people land in significant numbers, at least in our office. I'm not sure about others, but at least in our office we have an enormous amount of people landing, few dozens a month, if not per week. That's not the fact. The fact is many people ask me the same question, so I decided to address it in the video, make it public, and this is a recording, but don't take it as legal advice, right? You know the rule. I'm talking without knowing your case. I'm talking without knowing your particular situations in life and your family members' situations and background and stories and obligations and many, many circumstances that definitely may change the course of your life in the nearest future. I'm talking in general, how to keep PR once you get it. First of all, PR stands for Permanent Residency. That allows people to stay in Canada with the rights of citizens, except one important right, to vote during election. Well, some people can say, Dr. Alex, it's not that important, I can live without this. Rightly so. As a matter of fact, I had clients who were permanent residents in Canada for decades, for all their life. The most astonishing example is one old lady who came from Italy as a young bride, got married, got kids, settled, never left Canada, never need to apply for anything else but to maintain permanent residency. And quite frankly, she didn't want to lose her original citizenship because her country didn't allow dual citizenship at the time. So long story short, you can maintain your status of permanent resident forever. You can keep it and extend it if you qualify. By the way, speaking of qualification, it's not that hard. 730 days or 2 full calendar years within 5 years of validity of your PR card would be sufficient for you to extend. Many people do that, and circumstances can be different. Personal family situation, valuable gained employment. Gainful employment is a very big magnet for people to work and stay overseas sometimes, which technically can spread from professionals working in oil and gas industry somewhere in the Middle East, or let's say some business people who have lucrative business back home and just cannot leave it. That is a good part. Okay, so you can maintain your PR forever. What if you're not able to do that? Well, there is some recipe for that. Legal, of course, because we never advise to do anything illegal, but be careful. Illegal schemes exist. You have to be extremely, extremely careful. I remember one astonishing, terrible story from Montreal when Immigration Canada discovered one tiny apartment in the old Montreal area, which is technically have some unlivable spaces, let's put it this way. So it discovered one apartment, technically like studio, with 1,500 people registered on that particular address. Imagine how they were alarmed about it, and they discovered a huge smuggling permanent residency maintenance scheme to maintain address for money, and then people got screwed, of course, because they weren't here, and it's illegal. It's actually lying to immigration and lying to citizenship judge. This is something people have to understand seriously. You cannot lie about your status in Canada, because if you spend time out overseas, it's traceable. Even one chance out of million, is it worth it? So, speaking of legal ways to maintain it if you have to leave Canada, well, a few things exist as exemption. One is, for example, if you work for Canadian government or provincial government or military forces. Well, I'm not suggesting to do that, but it's possible. Special exception exists for people working for Canadian companies, but this is where people have to be extremely, extremely careful. If you create your own company and send yourself overseas to work, let's say back in China or somewhere in Africa, well, it's not that easy. Be serious. Anybody would do that, right? So what would be the legitimate way of justifying such absence from Canada? There is a definition of qualifying business for that. Company has to establish absolutely legitimate operation with big size employees and definitely have a need to send someone, let's assume you, back to that country where you want to spend time. Or maybe you don't have a choice, they send you somewhere and you're willing to take that offer. But they have to assign you on a temporary position over there with salary paid in Canada, full force, no exemptions. And that temporary must be temporary. It's not like I will send you to work in Dubai for, let's say, 5 years and I sign you agreement for that. No, that's not going to fly. So you have to be very, very careful when you assess. And we have experience with people like that, and they usually successfully proceed to citizenship because they do everything the right way. Talk to us before you did something, okay? Because if you do something and then you come in to say, and saying to me that Dr. Alex solved this issue, well, sometimes it's too late. Let's say you are successfully passing through this test of being overseas legally or managed to stay in Canada for 730 days. My first question when we're talking about potential avenue of future life in Canada is this. Are you planning to become a citizen? If you do, and you have ability to stay in Canada for 1,095 days, which is 3 calendar years, well, why don't you do that? People say, well, I would like to explore the world, I want to do something. Trust me, life shows that you will have plenty of time exploring the world after you have Canadian passport. By the way, comparing to many countries, it is still the best passport ever, especially now, with many countries losing the status of their passport as their best. And also, I would like to mention convenience of staying in Canada for all the vacations you may have, all school holidays for your children. Explore Canada. Canada has huge, huge territory to explore. From Atlantic Canada, Maritimes, beautiful time in summer and September, October, beautiful colors. Nature is booming, it's beautiful, right? So go into prairies in the summer. Well, you have to be careful about mosquitoes in the middle of Canada, like Manitoba is lake country. That's terrible for mosquitoes, but it's cold in the winter. So, but you can go to Banff in the winter, or you can go to Banff in the summertime. You can go to Vancouver Island and explore that territory, which by itself is, that's why they call it Pacific Rim. So I don't have to explore Canada with you. You can do it for yourself. But if you spend 3 years maximizing your time in Canada, exploring Canada on any occasion that you substitute travel inside Canada with traveling overseas, isn't that a smart choice to collect useful days to become Canadian citizens? Just think about this proactively. By the way, that's a real reason for some people to move here, especially from smoke pollution heavy countries where people actually need to bring kids and families into clean environment. Canada giving the great opportunity for that. How to keep PR? Bottom line is, don't fool around. This is very serious matter. If you're losing your PR, you're losing your PR. Sometimes the last point and the last example is the family, the nuclear family, husband, wife, children. Let's say husband is the bread earner and he is working hard overseas, earning money, unable to extend his PR status because he is always working, visiting family, of course, but not enough to extend that stay for 730 days within 5 years. It's okay, don't panic. It's manageable because by the time family stays here for 3 years and apply for citizenship, he can even lose his PR and then get visitation rights by visitor visa, visit family for extended time sometimes, whatever. But when time is right, the spouse, who now as Canadian citizen can live with him overseas, as an example, can sponsor him and they can come back to Canada together, now able to live here. And that would be one of the conditions for people to return to Canada together, and he will be a sponsored spouse. Everything is very, very legal and has to be very carefully orchestrated from the legal standpoint, carefully crafted time-wise, and definitely with your best interest in mind. Conclusion of this video is quite simple. Do you have your personal stories, how you lost PR or maybe something happened and you decided to extend it and it didn't work? What was the condition? If you can share, considering your privacy, of course, we respect that, but you can leave comment below, share your story. Of course, you can share this video with someone you think can benefit from this, and most likely you already subscribe to our channel. If you not, well, I guess you have to, because we have so many interesting videos and subjects to cover. And like this video, and stay safe.